How bad do you think it is? Do you think it's so? Do you think this is the sort of thing that can just be fixed with money?
I think that we all have the ideal version of ourselves, and then we have what we really are.
He did use the power dynamic in a malicious or harmful way. She was about 19. He targets young. He targets stupid. He targets mentally ill. He says he likes crazy girls.
The Dennis system from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where this is just like this is his sexual.
It seems like he has a system. It seems to be the case, does it not? Well, there's the great thing, Connor. He specifically targets women with horrible relational issues, because he specifically says, "I love crazy women." It's a learning moment. It's a learning moment.
It is a learning moment.
You are so Connor. You're being so unfathomably dense right now. Wow, it's easier to manipulate and get one over on these young, mentally ill women. So we were expecting in a few days to see Mr. Girl and Counterpoints talk to each other, but that seems to not be happening. I like Pixie, Lonerbox, and Destiny pending anything horrific. Okay. Sunday's video alleges $1 million payout for damages related to the nude images was mentioned by other parties. $1 million, I can send you pictures of my junk. My wife will take the picture. Okay. Connor, I have to cancel that interview/stream for Saturday. You're a likable dude, but your inner sleeping with Destiny has gone from merely insufferable to despicable. I don't want any part of your disingenuous fence-sitting. He leaked her nudes, his weaponized audience reveled in her agony over it, and even knowing she was as a result, he and now you are downplaying his victimization of her and so many others. Destiny's behavior is horrific, and $1 million would not scratch the surface of the restitution Pixie deserves. I strongly recommend that you wake up and get on the right side of this. I hope you find your moral compass, but we are done. That's why he's like, okay. Wait, should I message Connor? Should I see if he's around? I messaged him. We'll see. Hi, Connor.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Cool.
So how's it going? Yeah, well, I mean, how's your day going? What do you think of all this?
You know, pretty good.
They got your mans. They got your mans on sex assault charges, Connor. They got your mans. Don't you feel bad or nothing, Connor? Don't you think you could have done something?
Nah, I wasn't involved with this one.
I mean, someone did try and tell you though, right?
What, you?
No. I mean someone who's got some very harsh words for you on Twitter right now.
Oh, what, Mr. Girl?
Mr. Girl.
Yeah, I actually, it kind of sucks because I told him that he could, you know, do a victory lap if he wanted to on stream, but I actually wanted to interview him about his life because, anyways, I don't know if that matters.
No, I want to talk about the Mr. Girl tweet. I want to talk about what you think of this. Do you feel like you're sweeping in this tweet?
I mean, maybe a little bit, yeah. Obviously, I'm taking like a situation that's pretty serious, and I'm trying to make it humorous. So,
okay. Well, what's your fleshed out thoughts on what's happening?
You know, I did put my fleshed out thoughts in a video a while ago called "Why Everyone Betrays Destiny." It's probably one of my longest videos. And I think it stands true. I think that if you get involved in a physical or emotional relationship with Destiny, eventually it will implode. I think that's just true.
Okay, sure. That's not really what I more meant like, what do you think of this, the Pixie allegation, the Cherry allegation? How are you feeling about it? What do you think Destiny did something wrong here? How proven do you think it is? How bad do you think it is?
I think he did. I think that I don't think anybody's going to be happy with me tonight. Okay, so can I go a little wild with it?
Yep, go for it, Connor.
Okay, so I recently reread or went over the Destiny report via Chud Logic. I was going to write my own summary because I felt like 18 hours was way too long to cover all the content. The video is actually being edited right now, so it's kind of crazy that all this stuff is blowing up. Looking at the Destiny report in hindsight, I think one of the things that it minimizes, but is just true, is that, in my opinion, Destiny's childhood was like absolutely fucked him up. And he's basically, have you ever seen the TV show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yep.
Okay. Do you remember the scene where Dennis talks to Frank about filling his god hole with vagina?
Vaguely.
Okay. I think that's Destiny.
Sorry, can you just... What do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is he was, just being real, traumatized by his parents' neglect. He was traumatized by his grandma murdering dogs.
Yep, and pissing in the hallway.
And he was traumatized by his grandma, him catching his grandma pissing on the floor next to her bed as she slowly died from senility. And so he stopped believing in God or a higher order or
if he just believed in
morality.
Jesus, none of this would have happened, of course.
Yeah.
No,
yep.
Connor. I don't think that's how it works.
How many people with faith in Jesus do you know that are
revenge pornographers? Right, I'm 100% certain if I looked for a revenge pornographer.
Well, he's not a revenge pornographer, is he?
Whatever you want to call it, it's a colloquialism for the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of
a sharer of non-consensual pornography.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of modern Christians who take their faith seriously, who have this going on in their lives.
Okay, but that's just like, that's essentially saying that, that's like begging the question, right? You're basically saying they take their faith seriously. Well, yeah, if they adhere to the principles of the Bible completely, then yeah, they wouldn't be engaging in like promiscuity and shit. Sure. But, but that's like saying that's not everyone who believes in God or is a Christian or quote unquote takes their faith seriously adheres to all of it, and most of them stray in many ways.
Yeah, I don't believe in Jesus Christ literally, but I don't live my life like I honestly think that, in my opinion, the way that Destiny lives his life, he's a nihilist hedonist.
Okay, I think you can be a nihilist hedonist without violating other people's consent. I think there's plenty of those.
Well, I think that the philosophy drives you to thinking that this behavior is ultimately okay.
Well, how? On the Destiny stated moral system, it's not okay, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm claiming that his moral system is nihilism and hedonism.
Do you think the moral system comes first, or the childhood trauma comes first?
Wait, which one?
Do you think he's doing these things because he believes in nihilism and hedonism, or do you think he believes in nihilism and hedonism for rationalization of the actions he's driven to commit as a result of his upbringing?
Yeah, I think it's the latter.
Yeah, so it's not really about whether you accept Jesus or not, is it? It's like about it's about the development and the childhood development.
Well, so I mean, I agree with this to some degree, but I also think it doesn't work unless you know, Jordan Peterson has this statement that I find interesting, which is basically what people actually believe can be revealed through their actions, how they conduct themselves, right? And so I think that this is only possible with a nihilist hedonist worldview.
Okay, I feel like we're slightly off topic talking about God, Connor. Destiny, do you feel like he has committed some kind of consent violation? You believe that's happened, yeah?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. How bad do you think it is? Do you think this is the sort of thing that can just be fixed with money?
Yes.
You think you think that if videos leaked of you sucking Destiny's dick, you could just be paid off and be fine with it?
Yeah, and the reason why is because so obviously there's like there's trauma or there's hurt there, right? But we have voluntary actions all the way down, and this is why nobody's going to be happy with my takes. I feel like there's a certain amount of voluntary action that we all take on when we orbit.
You think this is part of the deal?
I think it's part of the deal that if you start hooking up with a Coomer who's an unapologetic degenerate Coomer, and you consent to a video of you being taken by that unapologetic degenerate Coomer, then yeah, like you have to expect this to happen at some point. Yeah.
You have to expect this to happen, but Destiny specifically makes a huge point on stream of being like, I talk about consent the most. Everything I do is always completely negotiated, and everyone knows exactly what's happening all the time. If I'm going to have sex with a girl, she knows it 5 business days in advance, whether she likes it or not. You know, this is him every other day on stream talking about consent, especially back then when the stuff with Pixie happened. And she even notes
but we know that's not true, right?
Well, back then, when he was saying that stuff, when I was watching him, you know, I was a retarded 20-year-old, similar to Pixie. I believed what he was saying. I was like, well, I mean, yeah, everything I've seen from this guy, it seems like he does negotiate all this shit in like an autistic way.
Well, and so hold on. So let's parse this out a little bit. I think he probably does aggressively negotiate a healthy chunk of his relationship.
Adheres to the agreements.
Well, but there's obviously like this flagrant violation of the agreement, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't have thought that. I wouldn't have expected that back then. I would expect that now because I've seen so much.
I think most people are pieces of shit. So, you know, I think that we all have the ideal version of ourselves, and then we have what we really are. So just because he's saying it, like I would expect him to have like heavily negotiated sexual and romantic relationships.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, that's probably what he told himself.
So,
was how he was how he was going to negotiate polyamorous, polyromantic relationships. That's how he wasn't going to burn out and explode compared to everybody else who has polyamorous and polyromantic relationships. He was going to be better than them. But that's obviously not true.
Okay. In Pixie's statement, she notes that she was very sexually inexperienced and told Destiny about this and confided in him about this extensively, and saw him as sort of like oh, this guy knows what's going on. This guy goes on stream and talks about sex and consent and all this stuff all the time. He'll never rape me. Do you not think it's kind of like a reduced agency thing there when there's a 35-year-old man or 30-year-old man with a huge platform who always talks about sex and consent so much is telling you privately, oh, I would never rape you. I would never rape you. And then he totally violates your consent. You don't think there's a reduced agency thing going on there? Assuming that stuff's true that Pixie said?
No, there could be, but also we have to set barriers on what we think about, because we're, you know, actually if we cite Mr. Girl, you know, this is the frustrating thing about it. I feel like I represented his report pretty accurately in my video. One of the first things that's stated is Destiny has unequal sexual relationships. Well, by virtue of his position, almost every sexual relationship is going to be unequal, right? So we have to decide how much agency we give to each party. And what I find like a little bit frustrating is the fact that we're not treating these people as adult women or adult men. We're treating them, I'm just going to be mean, we treat them like retarded children.
Okay, that's just not really what's happening though, is it? Like, obviously,
no, I would argue 100% we treat them like retarded children.
Even Destiny
100%.
would argue himself, would say that if a power dynamic is being used in some kind of exploitative way, that is wrong, right? That it's not necessarily the existence of the power dynamic, but the utilization of it in some kind of coercive or harmful way that would be wrong. And in this instance, the situation that Pixie's describing, he did use the power dynamic in a malicious or harmful way. She was about 19.
Okay. And like, I don't necessarily subscribe to all this, you know, progressive stuff. Like, I think it's like, it's good to factor in, but I also don't think it's like the end all be all.
Okay, put it this way though, okay. But you would see it as wrong if, say, a boss goes, suck me off for a raise, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so that's a power dynamic being used in the wrong way. So if we scale it back, the Destiny situation, he is a streamer who talks about consent and relationships extensively on his stream, huge platform, and he starts dating, or not dating. He meets up with this way smaller streamer who is expressing to him that she's not, you know, that confident with sex. You know, she feels like he's someone that's like trustworthy and can, you know, show her the ropes or whatever. And then he uses that to get intimate videos of her and then share them without her consent.
Well, okay, so I feel like you front loaded that a little bit, and the obvious violation comes towards the end, right? So if let's run the exact same scenario.
The point is that she is displaying to him a lack of power in this regard, and he is using that.
Yeah. I don't agree with your
okay. Well, how do you not agree?
So what I would say is 70% of what you described, I would view wrong from my social conservative lens, but that's because I think these people should grow the fuck up and find mature relationships, right? But from a liberal sexual framework, a large streamer with a powerful platform, money, clout, etc., if he's being forthright with everything in his negotiations with a relationship with somebody else, and he's being honest, and then they have a consensual relationship, and then they shoot pornographic content together that the other party consents to, that's all Gucci as long as he keeps that private or deletes the content. Obviously, like, the violation comes from the non-consenting dissemination of that content.
Yeah, but the point is that due to her inexperience, she doesn't have like the forethinking to necessarily foresee, oh wait, this guy might not be who he's portraying himself as, and might share this content with other people completely recklessly, when he has positioned himself as like a guru on the topic, basically.
Sure. I
He knows, and he specifically.
I would never.
You know that Destiny does, and he's admitted this. He likes college girls. This is basically what he said to Wes on anything else. I like the college girls. Basically, is what he said. He targets young. He targets stupid. He targets mentally ill. He says he likes crazy girls. Like at what point?
Do we want to? But we need to parse out the behavior, right? So do you care? So for instance, do you care about Leonardo DiCaprio breaking up with every single one of his girlfriends by the time they turn 25?
It would depend on the details of the relationship. I don't know the relationships. I haven't seen the details.
Okay, so let's say that he has an otherwise consenting, fully informed relationship with girls between the ages of 18 and 25, but he exclusively likes college girls and girls from that age bracket, and so he only dates those women. As soon as they turn 25, he breaks up with them. Do you have? I have an objection to that, but it's like a
it depends if that breakup, if it is clearly communicated the whole time this is the case, it's like difficult for me to draw a hard issue with it. The issue would come if there is some kind of violation. At that point, it's like, okay, now this warrants further interrogation because you've misused that trust, that power.
What I would say is that I think these scenarios are almost directly analogous because Leonardo DiCaprio is an A-list movie actor with millions of dollars who can whisk any girl across the planet and get her into parties that she would never be able to as a person by herself. And so as a result, I feel like this analogy is almost one-to-one.
Yeah, but we haven't seen any violations. That's the point, right? If Leonardo DiCaprio was, lying to them about the relationship and then breaking up with them and being like, okay, you use good to know, bye. Like, yeah, I'd probably see a problem with that. But if he's totally upfront, you're not displaying any violation. In this case, Destiny, seemingly from Cherry, from Pixie, from Melina, has repeatedly violated the trust that he gains through that power dynamic.
So, yeah, can you bring me up to speed on the Cherry one?
Cherry posted a tweet saying, actually, let me just get the tweet. I'll read it. I'll try and guess what it said. So she said, today I was made aware of an intimate audio recording taken of me without my consent that was also shared without my consent. I'm upset right now. I'm going to give myself time to process.
So is the presumption here that she had an audio log that was included in the leaks that made it to Kiwi
I don't know if
Farms
it's in the leaks. I believe this is all people are now talking behind the scenes and informing each other of stuff they've received and sent from Destiny.
Then obviously okay. So if he's recording people without their consent in any regard, he deserves to get like turbo fucked with that, right? If that's the case, right? That's one issue. The other issue is the sharing of this content without the consent of the involved parties, particularly with the people or the person with whom he shared it with. I view that as beyond fucking retarded.
What do you mean?
Like, I could not imagine being an adult human being with some level of developed brain and sharing the sexual audio and videotapes of all of my exploits with a 19-year-old e-girl. That's borderline criminally fucking insane, right?
I mean, yeah, the whole thing is like insane from doing that anyway, no?
Yeah.
Well, sent like a 19-year-old e-girl videos of him sucking dick. Like, that's fucking crazy too. Like,
yeah, no, I think talking yourself. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the original video was that he was heterosexual. He's hetero-romantic. He's mentioned that on stream. I know for a fact. And yet he was like, "Why don't I like guys?" And then he basically evolved himself into that thing by thinking his way into.
He thought himself into being gay.
Fucking insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. And then here's the I'm going to reiterate it.
You see what I mean? Wait, do you see what I mean? When you have repeated instances of him gaining trust through an uneven power dynamic, and then breaking agreements in that, it makes it seem less as though it's a matter of, oh, there happens to be an uneven power dynamic, but everything's negotiated reasonably, and then there's a violation that happened later, versus this guy has a system of recruiting and violating the trust of young women.
Yeah, so I kind of have to. I just don't agree with your framing that this is. So are you accusing him of effectively having the dentist system from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where this is just like his sexual.
It seems like he has a system. It seems to be the case, does it not?
Well, I think the system is he flirts with as many people as possible, and then anybody who reciprocates any level of interest whatsoever, he jumps into their messages.
Uses their sexual material to then get with more women, to recruit more women as social proof, showing to them, hey, look, here's Pixie sucking me off. Here's, you know, Cherry. And then recruits. You leverages his previous sexual encounters with other young women.
We have to go back to agency though. At what point? So let's run it through as a hypothetical, okay? I know lots of people in your community like to think of themselves, you know, fantasize about themselves as women, okay? So let's all imagine that we're women real quick. So there's a guy who's kind of popular on the internet, a little nerdy, but you know, he's really funny and charismatic. And you start flirting with him in DMs, and then he sends you a treasure trove of videos of porn.
Well, okay, to be clear, I don't know that he sends a treasure trove to each and every one, but I believe that he commonly leverages material. Not that he sends his whole archive, but that he commonly leverages material from one relationship to get into the next one.
Okay, so why, if you don't have abhorrent fucking relational issues, would that be a positive?
Well, there's the great thing, Connor. He specifically targets women with horrible relational issues. Because he specifically says, I love crazy women. Isn't that wild, Connor, how he does that? And he says, oh, I just like crazy women because it's a more exciting life or something. Totally not, because they're more malleable and unstable and easy to get one over on.
Okay. So, well, I don't know if he's ever said that they're easier to get one over on.
No, he doesn't say that. That's the point. He says, I like having a crazy life. That's what he said. That's his bullshit cope. But everyone knows. The only reason a guy targets mentally ill women is because they're fucking stupid.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess we're landing there. So what I would say, right? So I like Destiny. I think he's charismatic. I think he's intelligent. However, I think I made this a point in my video a year ago. If you engage in a relationship with him, you can effectively expect it to implode at some point.
Okay. Pixie engaged this relationship in like 2021, 2022, though, right? Was it back then? It was really that obvious this guy was going to just totally fuck people over like that?
I don't know. Wasn't he fucking 2021? I think the Anna situation started in early 2020.
Were you one of the many people convincing people that all that stuff was fine? Were you covering that stuff at the time?
I don't think so. No. Okay. I think if anything, I was one of the people who was in the chorus basically saying that his continued engagement with this relationship is exemplary of, I'm just gonna be real, some kind of like sexual retardation.
Okay. When Destiny said the retarded child thing, the thing you're quoting, he was referring...
I'm just gonna be mean. I like the guy, but I think he's sexually retarded.
Yeah, okay. When Destiny said the retarded child thing about women, the thing you're quoting when you talk about Pixie, that was a situation where a woman was saying, I have been repeatedly stealthed. Guys just take the condom off and I never notice, basically, was the gist of that.
Yep.
And he said, you're so much of a retarded child that you can't spot when someone's taking a condom off and tell them to stop, then you shouldn't be engaging in sex. Okay.
No, okay, so let me clarify something real quick, please. I wasn't referencing that at all. What I actually sincerely believe is that human people are probably designed to be at minimum serial monogamous. And so what happens is when you start dating when you're a young teenager is you might want to fool around with multiple people to figure out what you like and what you don't like, right? But what emotionally mature people do is they realize that when I have sex with somebody, I am, having this extreme physical, emotional, borderline spiritual connection with them. And so as a result, I don't want to keep giving pieces of myself away thousands of times. And so an emotionally mature person says, okay, I'm going to find somebody that I really like spending time with, who I can build a life with. And as a result, I'm going to settle down with them. I think that's what a sexually mature person does. I think a sexually retarded person says, sex is really fun. I'm going to have, emotionally and spiritually devoid sex until I'm dead. And that's I think that person is sexually retarded.
Okay, but Pixie explicitly expressed and says that she explicitly expressed that she was inexperienced. That you say that as a man probably approaching 40, frankly. I don't know how old you are, Connor. I'm just taking a guess.
I am approaching 40, yeah.
Approaching 40. You say as a man approaching 40, a 19-year-old girl isn't like having crazy, introspection about how much sex means, right? This isn't something that we expect from like 19-year-olds, really, is it? We expect 19-year-olds to be at college fucking around.
And sharing my earnest opinion, Pixie should obviously learn a very hard lesson from this. I think that Destiny does owe her some level of compensation.
It's a learning moment. It's a learning moment.
It is a learning moment, but I also think that Destiny owes her some level of compensation because he did violate her trust, right?
Sure. It feels like you are like literally just basically victim blaming, and not in like a fake way, like in a no, it is actually the victim's fault, even though she was victimized.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's
a very Destiny take to have. That's a very Destiny take.
No, I think okay. So I think after the age of 18, you are an adult. You're responsible for your behavior, and you have to figure shit out. 100%.
Yeah, you're not responsible for when someone that you trusted violates an agreement with you, though. That is them. Just
no, you are. No,
I
think Destiny is responsible for that, and I think that if he was, gonna be mature about it, he, instead of doing like a Reddit post and saying, "Oh, I'm still pursuing all these other parties who are actually," well, I'm not saying he actually said this, but the vibe is, I'm pursuing all these other parties that are responsible. I think that he should make a new post tomorrow, and it should be, I fucked up. I did something fucked up. I hurt people as a result. I will work with these parties in private in order to resolve the situation to their satisfaction. I am sorry. Okay. So yeah, no, Destiny isn't, he's not even close to blameless.
Well, it's not a matter of being blameless. It's just like, it's like saying, like, if someone gets scammed,
adults have responsibility
if someone gets scammed, like let's say something that, with a bunch of evidence in its favor, like there's like thalidomide. Do you know the thalidomide scandal? Do you know this, Connor?
I'm unfamiliar.
The thalidomide fuck me, I can't even say it. The thalidomide scandal was this like drug for like morning sickness, I think it was, for pregnancy.
Yep.
That women were advised to take, given to take. And it turned out it was end up making kids come out with like three arms or like one arm and fucking no legs and all this shit. As a result, after like years, it was found out that this was the case, I believe. Do you think that those women who went and got thalidomide, thinking, "Oh, there's all this evidence, all these like institutions are telling me this is totally fine," and then they went and took it because it's like your body is a temple, Christian morality? You think those women have fault in that case, or do you think that because they were told by a huge trusted institution that it was fine, maybe they don't quite have as much agency?
In this analogy is a 30-year-old blue-haired polyamorous.
He wasn't blue-haired at the time, I don't believe.
Okay. Do you know what I'm poking at though? Because I have a feeling you do.
Yeah, the point is that he was hugely public.
Through which young women are
trusting
this
the authority. It's not a matter of being
the
state authority. Yeah, in the analogy, yes. In the analogy, yes, that is the case.
Okay, so
him and the whole history of relationships that he's had that have been spun publicly by not just him, but a bunch of people around him who are essentially directly under him. Have been spanned to be completely benign, totally fine. He's got all this social proof, all these people around him saying everything's totally fine, and this huge back catalogue of women who he's proven to have fucked and not had issues with.
Yeah, I think anybody who accepts that concept is a fucking lunatic. Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I don't think this is even close an analogy to the same thing as like a major drug company or the government saying that.
Wow, that's literally a breakfast response, Connor.
What do you mean?
That's like saying, "Oh, it's not. These things aren't the same."
Well, no, I'm rejecting your analogy. I don't think.
Okay, how's it dysanalogous?
I don't think that Destiny is an authority on relationships.
What's an authority?
And I would have never trusted
what's
a polyamorous
man. You would have never trusted. You would have never trusted
on relationships.
You would have never trusted coming to see Destiny as a 30-plus-year-old Christian guy who met him on a fucking, I don't know, Prime K's panel. Like,
yeah,
this is a very different situation to being a college-age girl who is very liberal.
Yeah, if my daughter believed that a polyamorous 30-year-old,
you would tell her she deserved to get raped.
Would did she get raped, Kuihman? You need to be more precise with your language.
No, I don't. Hypothetically raped.
Hypothetically raped? No, if she got raped, I would fucking.
Why is rape different to this violation of consent? What's the disanalogous part?
Because according to what I understand, they hooked up, they consensually created a recording,
and then their consent was violated.
Destiny recklessly leaked that recording like 5 years later.
He violated her consent. No.
He engaged in behavior that was so reckless that he might as well have.
Okay, why is rape a disanalogous violation of consent? Why is that disanalogous?
Because I'm pretty sure rape is a way more intense thing than a fucking consensual sex tape.
That's a really smart response, Connor. That's a really smart response. One thing is worse than the other.
No, it actually is. Analogous. You know, when you say you can't.
No, it's fucking retarded, Connor. Connor, you're being so unfathomably dense right now. You can analogize two things that are of different severities. That's usually what you do in an analogy.
Can I explain how your analogy sucks?
Okay, explain where it is disanalogous, please, Connor.
Okay, I don't think that anybody should have considered him a fucking sexual savant.
Okay, that's not what we're talking about right now. I'm saying why is rape
exactly what we're talking about.
So I'm asking you a specific question, Connor. I'm asking you a specific question. Answer my specific question. Answer.
The government.
Wait, we moved on to a different analogy here. We moved on to a different analogy because you can't answer any of them. Because you can't answer any of them. You can't answer any of them, Connor. Connor.
Yeah,
you can't answer any of them.
I hope the people at home already realize exactly what.
What is disanalogous between the violation of consent in sharing someone's sex tape, violation of consent and rape? Where is the disanalogous part? Which part is disanalogous? You can't just say severity. Obviously, they're different severities. It's an analogy. We're not just saying they're the same thing. Where is the disanalogous part? That's what I just asked you.
Okay. If you want to remove severity, which I do object to, but I'll just accept for the sake of entertaining the conversation.
Okay, analogies never have the same severity, Connor. Like almost never.
The other part of the analogy that I disagree with is the level of authority with which you should give destiny compared to the authority of the government that you did in your.
Okay, we're talking about the rape thing, Connor. We're talking about just the rape thing right now. You just answered that one.
No, you said that I'm being.
I just asked you a specific question. I just asked you a specific question. I said, how is comparing rape to the violation of consent when someone shares the nude? How is that disanalogous? How is comparing the violation of consent there? What's the disanalogous part?
Well, and you already said severity is not a valid answer, but I already said
because we're comparing the violation of consent. They're different severities, but I'm saying, why is what is okay? Well, even then, Connor, what is the line for severity? What is the line? How severe does a violation of consent have to be before you go into the person?
Before I go into the person,
because you just said you would. Someone who raped your daughter, right?
Yeah, I would say like rape or sexual assault is probably the.
What? Okay. Why do you draw that line?
Why do I draw that line? I draw that line because there is a flagrant disregard for the consent of the involved party, whereas allegedly in the videotaping of the videotape content, there was some level of consent.
Okay, so how about the grinder hookups that he admitted to recording in his pocket, the cherry situation? How about those? Do those qualify?
I don't want to sweep for all of this shit.
Okay, but do those qualify?
Well, no. So these are just exploring it. By the way. And this is more about the argumentation of the incidents more than it is about my perspective. Because obviously, like, recording people without people's consent is fucked up. There's no way to slice it, right? However, if you're talking about the recordings in degree of severity or whatever, then if the other person is not identifiable in the recording, I would view that as less severe than recording somebody's video with consent that then gets leaked, or recording them without their consent, if the person involved is not identifiable in any way. Like so, for instance, correct me if I'm wrong. In this scenario, the grinder hookups is like audio only from the pocket, right?
Yeah. Oh well, we don't. Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not necessarily identifiable, right?
Uh, yeah, I would accept that. However, I'm just saying, like, you know, you're saying that you don't necessarily like my arguments about severity, but can you agree that let's say that he leaks all three kinds of content?
It's fine to argue
right?
severity, but you need to have a reason why that severity exists. And the reason you just gave me, a reason why you draw the line on the severity, and the reason you just gave me was there wasn't a flagrant disregard for the person's consent. Now, I don't agree with you that that's even the case, that there's not a flagrant disregard, even in the Pixie case. But I will drop the Pixie case, and I pressed you on the other cases that where these are. He did have a flagrant disregard. He didn't even ask to record.
Sure.
Right.
So yeah. So let's talk.
So
about
that seems like it qualifies. So that seems
like
it qualifies for your line on severity. You said the line was a flagrant disregard for the person's consent, and that's when it's really, really bad. That's when you stop doing.
No, okay. So yeah, but then I would use a different variable in order to minimize the severity for the sake of argument, while still, by the way, still finding this behavior reprehensible. So just follow me real quick. Okay, just follow me real quick. So let's talk about three different kinds of content leaking that are sexual in nature, right? Audio recording of somebody doing a sex act where the person is not identifiable. Video recording where the person consented to the videotape, but they did not consent to it being released. And then videotape that the person did not consent to at all. We can agree that these are three different levels of severity while still being bad, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I mean, but I don't know what that does that tell me. But what does it tell? What does that tell me about the situation?
Maybe nothing. I don't think I want to.
Okay, but it just doesn't seem very worthwhile. Like, yeah, there's different severities of these things. I don't see what changes.
Well, I think what changes is the consequences that you hold that person to, right?
What do you mean? I'm not even talking about consequences right now.
I'm
talking about the intent. We're talking about, yeah, but the conversation we were initially having was about Destiny having a system for recruiting and all this stuff, and that's how we got here, right?
Sure.
So that's not about the consequences that should be done. We're talking about the intention and the tactics used.
Sure. So I don't agree it's as like I don't know that it's as like malicious as you're painting it.
Okay, how do you, in a non-malicious way, record people's audio?
No. I was talking about the system of recruiting young, impressionable women to have sex with.
Okay, and you don't think that the things that have come out now maybe paint it in a more malicious way?
No, I mean you can say that they do, but I don't know how much of this is conscious and subconscious.
How much of it is conscious? You think he subconsciously shares around unconsensually recorded?
No, okay, so let's delineate some ideas. So are we talking about him having a impulse to recruit and have sex with young women? Are we talking about sharing the files, or are we talking about the types of files? What are we talking about?
We're talking about the reason for him doing all of these things.
Okay.
So the impulse to recruit, the reason he shares, the reason he records.
Okay. The reason, in my estimation, my armchair psychological opinion, is that he has death avoidance, like all humans do. He wants to fill his life with pleasure to the maximum degree possible. And he doesn't believe that there's a higher power that will hold him to account in a majorly consequential way. That's why.
Okay.
He's a nihilist hedonist with a god hole.
So you don't think at any point he's ever thought, wow, it's easier to manipulate and get one over on these young, mentally ill women?
Do you know when I thought that he probably thought that?
When?
Summer of 2022. That's when I think that he thought that.
Right. When you're saying this stuff.
Yeah. I think that he, in my opinion, he entered into a relationship with Lauren. Lauren wanted to hold him to a higher standard of behavior. He
is this where this is coming? Okay, I'm putting dots together. Okay, go for it, man.
No, I mean, just finishing the concept.
If only you'd read more C.S. Lewis. If only you'd read more C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, man.
You should read some C.S. Lewis sometime. Okay, although I don't really like him too much. I would actually I would recommend some other stuff. But anyways.
Laura would have made such a great couple. It's just so fucked up.
Well, I don't think in my
your life would have been so much better. It's so fucked up.
No, in my opinion, I don't think that even he thinks he's capable of that relationship. I think he says as much in the DMs.
Oh, Sleepy just joined.
Hi, Sleepy.
Sleepy, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I gotta ask, Connor, so I've read a lot of C.S. Lewis. Where at in Mere Christianity does it say you should continue to solicit nude images from mentally unstable women while gaslighting your audience into thinking that they're insane bitches?
He would probably say something the opposite, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm still trying to.
And that's what I would encourage him to do, right?
Well, yeah, you would encourage him to do that, but I mean, let's be honest, he's not going to be reading any C.S. Lewis unless he gets like fucking jail time for like possession of cocaine or something.
Sure, but you know, as I'm not a literalist Christian, but I hold out hope that people can be redeemed eventually.
Okay. One of the things that I keep wondering, because you keep using the analogy of like, okay, so like daughters, whatever, blah 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 blah. So like, let's say like you've got well, first of all, I'm going to ignore the fact that you say that like the whole like sucking dick and everything's the kind of bet that you take for being an orbiter, which kind of opens up a whole can of worms.
Well,
ignoring all that.
I don't know if that's exactly what I said, but continue.
Okay. So let's say that like your daughter goes out on a date with a guy.
Uh-huh.
And you know, for some reason they get frisky, whatever. A few weeks, year goes by. Your daughter's sort of graduated, she's kind of like popular. The guy's like way popular in school. Things start going around, it's like, oh my god, like there's this like voice memo that's floating around. It's this guy, and literally in the voice memo, and he's like, I'm about ready to nail like Connor's daughter, but like shh. And like you could hear the phone like slide into like the fucking jean pockets. And then like it's just your daughter getting fucking railed. And then a few weeks later he sends that to somebody and he's like, oh wow, you know, like this would be like really, really embarrassing if like somebody used this stuff to like blackmail me. Tee hee hee hee. Do you think that that person would have any right? Like, do you think your daughter would have like any right to recourse or anything like that?
These are
not only does she have right to
clips,
recourse,
guys.
So I would
horrifying.
This might not be an American sense of justice, but I would go beat the fuck out of the guy, and then I would tell my daughter to stop being such a fucking retard, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's almost exactly what I'm saying. 1 to 1.
Well, Connor's got the consistent. He would victim blame his own kids. He's consistent. Okay.
Well, do you know what I have 2 boys. You know what I'm going to tell my boys?
I don't know what.
Okay, I'm going to tell them that there are a fuckload of insane people on this fucking planet who will take advantage of their trust, and any digital communications that they have with anybody can be used against them. And so as a result, the only person that they should have relationships with are people that they see as potential marriage partners. And if they have any kind of physical relationship with somebody who they think is dumb or ugly or cruel or mean, and then that relationship explodes, they will have no one to blame but themselves. That's what I'll be telling my children.
Cool.
Do you have any objections to that being told to children who are coming of age?
No.
Okay. I think it's accurate.
Wow.
Sage wisdom.
Well, Kuihman, you say
okay,
wow.
Well, I mean, you're okay. I will push on that a bit, because it's just kind of a dumb thing to say, right? Because your kids are probably going to get to like 18, 19, 20, and they are going to engage irresponsibly, or in a way that would be irresponsible by that standard.
They're going to grow up online. They're going to be part of the, like their father's a Twitch streamer. Like how many e-thoughts are they going to see by the time that they're like already like 13?
No, number 1, I wouldn't say I'm a streamer. Number 2, I'm like way more successful on YouTube. Number 3, like yeah, just because people don't follow good advice doesn't mean it's not good advice.
Yeah, it's good advice, right? but you have to recognize that there are going to be points where like people 18, 19, 20-year-olds do not behave like that. It is just not the case, and you have to recognize that is the reality.
Jesus Christ gave good advice.
That Destiny engages. Wait,
isn't this adorable?
So what do you think I'm going to say when my 19-year-old boy comes home and he's like, Dad, I'm dating this girl. I love her. She's so hot, but she's so fucking mean, and she's such a fucking bitch. What do you think I'm going to say to him?
You're going to say, don't date that person. Don't fuck that person. Yeah. Okay, but it's not about the advice. It's about analyzing the situation as it is happening, right? If your 19-year-old comes home and is like, or if we know about your 19-year-old being in a bad relationship, we're not going to look at that and go, oh, what an idiot, should have known better. You know, there's so much good advice. It's like, no, it's like, they're 19. It's kind of what's to be expected. Obviously, they're going to make mistakes around that age. And so in this case, Destiny engages with a 19-year-old, knowing, having been explicitly told, in fact, this person is inexperienced. This person doesn't have all their shit together. This person is making mistakes, and then still uses that position to obtain illicit videos and then violate their trust with those illicit videos.
Yep. I think Destiny has a form of social and sexual retardation.
Yeah, I feel like retardation is sweeping though.
Why?
Because it's not retarded. It's quite malicious.
No. I'm not saying retardation as an unintelligent. I'm saying like a lack of development.
Yeah, sure. I just think that if you're using a lack of development to explain this, I don't think that's really what it's about. You can have a lack of development and also like be somewhat accountable and allow yourself to be held accountable. Yeah, this is an issue of exploitation of power, right?
Yeah. So if I had a friend who was sociosexually retarded, I would tell them to stop doing that, right?
Yeah, but he hasn't just been retarded. He's exploited the power, right?
Again, we're going to get into conversations of severity and responsibility.
Okay, so but regardless of the responsibility, he has exploited. I don't understand how can you have an issue with this. He knew he had a level of power over this person. They told him as much, and he was fully aware of all of these circumstances, engaged knowingly, and then violated the trust that was placed in him, fully knowingly, to not only not only harmed that person, but was also to his benefit in another situation.
Yeah, I'll do some more victim blaming. So Anavora, right? She has an issue. She has obsessive compulsive disorder, et cetera, right? There was a moment, I think it was in 2021, where Steven became upset with Anna because she said that he neglected his family and his son, and that he used his sociopathy in order to have sex with people. And Steven went after her super hard, and she got really upset by it. And Steven, I think, blocked her on 2 social media applications. If she had said, you know what, this is fucked up. I slept with a guy who's kind of an asshole. I don't like him, but you know what? I got to move on. Lesson learned. And she blocked him on 3 apps. What happens after that?
I don't remember.
What?
I don't remember. Are you asking me for the line in the story? I don't remember what happened.
Well, no, the next line in the story is that she continued to message him. But
Anna, people who are as mentally ill as Anna, I literally do see as like retarded children or like animals or something. Like it's like if a total schizophrenic has a psychotic break and goes and stabs someone, it's like, yeah, obviously stabbing someone's bad and terrible. But I mean, they had a complete psychotic break, and that's it. They were, what are you expecting to happen here? You going to reason with them? Are you going to explain to them it's actually a bad thing to do? You expect them to pick up on cues that this person doesn't actually want to be stabbed? But they're fucking they're having a complete schizophrenic break. I don't even see them as in control of their action. They're acting on like some base level impulse.
Okay, so I guess.
What does Connor think should happen to alleges?
She's what, a trickster? She's a trickster maniac or whatever. She pulls her hair out. Yeah. Like this is a person that acts like purely on impulse. They barely even like think.
Okay, well then I guess we.
This is like an actual retarded child.
She's some level of like retarded child.
Okay. Yeah, Anna actually is some kind of retarded child. Pixie is just an inexperienced young woman who got taken advantage of. That is the situation with Pixie. In a way that young women can very easily be taken advantage of if you are just a piece of shit guy. You could go do this to 19-year-olds, Connor.
Okay, yeah. So we might actually, I might be fighting you on instinct right now instead of actually disagreeing with you. So what you just said is the reason I might have dismissed it. As a matter of fact, this actually makes a lot of sense. You might have seen me calling Destiny sociosexually retarded as a sweep, but this actually is my mildly socially conservative objection to 30-year-old men having carte blanche to sleep with young 18 to 22-year-old women is because they are probably pursuing women within that age bracket because they know that there's some level of sexually maturing, I guess. They're not mature all the way, but they're maturing at that time. And so they know that women within that age bracket are more likely to take risks sexually because they want to gain experience to become fully developed human beings. So I do view that as some form of like morally criticizable and maybe even a tad bit predatory. But I extend that to every 40-year-old who has Peter Pan syndrome.
Okay, but this is a little bit more than just fucking on women, right?
Well, hold on. So
there's a further level of exploitation and harm that's been engaged in.
I just want to see where you line up. Okay. So I morally object to everyone who has like sexual Peter Pan syndrome. Do you?
If
you want to say this situation is more,
I don't define sexual Peter Pan syndrome for me. Define exactly what
you never want to grow up. You want to be 19 forever. Like I think that just as an example.
Okay. Here's my issue with this comment: is that 19 men's. I know for a fact. Okay, wait. I know for a fact a men's age of attraction, on average, never leaves 19 to 22. That's fact. We agree on that, right?
Sure.
Okay. So, yes, in theory, the sort of person who wants to be with 19-year-olds because, like, 19-year-olds are young and dumb and all this stuff. Yeah, there's something strange going on. There's something predatory going on there. If it's just like a guy, like you bring up the Leonardo DiCaprio example. I don't want to take a firm stance on any specific cases because I don't know like all the ins and outs of Leonardo DiCaprio's relationships. But like theoretically, the idea that there's just a guy who has access to basically any woman and is like completely upfront with people who are at least somewhat have somewhat of a leg up towards their level of power. It's usually other women in the industry that already have some kind of clout that Leonardo DiCaprio is with. Like the idea that if it was totally upfront, all above board, and it was purely like these are the women I'm attracted to, I'm not doing anything exploitative or harmful. There are situations where I can see that working. But in almost every case where there is someone who targets a specific age range, I think it's predatory. Because I don't know why you're targeting that specific age range or mentally ill people other than the reduced agency, generally. That seems to be the case. But I can conceptualize, it's not like an inherent thing. I can conceptualize of cases where it can be done fine.
We probably have an 80% overlap, so I don't care enough to bicker about it.
Okay. Well.
Yep. It's bad.
Okay.
What do you want me to say?
It's bad. What do you want me to say? Well, fair enough.
But okay, so here's the thing. I don't know how sensitive everyone is going to be about the situation, but individually I like almost every person involved. Like I like Lonerbox. I think he's a good dude. I like Pixie. I've been good with her despite Destiny's many foibles. I kind of hope he gets the fuck over them so his redeeming qualities aren't sullied by his negative qualities. But this is how I feel, and I don't want to pussyfoot about it and, be like, oh, maybe we'll all be friends one day. It's like, okay, well, even if we're friends, sometimes friends do retarded shit. So,
okay. Have you seen the videos and stuff?
Videos of what?
The Beckett and Sunday video?
I watched Sunday's video and I think I watched Beckett's video through you. I think there are
any other takes on this? Any takes on Erudite or anything else? Anything ancillary?
Yeah, I think Kyla's a better person than you give her credit for, but I understand why you're hostile.
Yeah, why do you think she's a better person? I give her credit for.
Well, I would think that based off of my limited relationship with Kyla and Nick, her husband, I think that they're figuring it out. But I think they're genuinely well-intended people who are trying to figure out like what the fuck is going on in our culture and how to get people into a better spot. So, okay. You can shit on all her, womanity fucking content or whatever if she creates it. But I think that her and Nick actually probably have great things to say.
Do you think? No, they don't. They're completely vapid retards. Do you think that Kyla enables Destiny?
I don't know. That's actually something that I borderline wanted to ask you about, because you said like, oh, it's Kyla's job in order to just say, Destiny, you have nothing maladaptive about you, and you're just so great, and everyone else is wrong, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if I've seen.
I'm pretty sure I've seen throughout the Mr. Girl and Lav stuff, her coming out and constantly being like, "No, this is actually you problem. You need to figure out how to deal with Destiny. He's just like this, and it's fine."
I don't know if the words like "it's fine" were ever used.
I'm pretty sure she's I would be used. Some people just like some people. It can be totally healthy. It can be healthy, and all this stuff. She gives like constantly reinforcing language. I don't think it's healthy.
Well, okay, so hold on. This actually is an interesting thing. Let me victim blame a little bit more. What was so interesting to me was going through, and by the way, I'm going to hold you to this. I basically need a Mr. Girl breakdown. Going through Mr. Girl and Lav and Destiny, they all had super fucked up childhoods and like some really like weird behavior that correlated with it. And then same thing with Melina. Do you remember the Darius's dog?
Melina's upbringing. I know about Melina. I know about the Darius stuff. Yeah, I remember all that stuff. Yeah.
No, but do you remember Darius's dog?
Yeah, I remember the dog that he begged Trainwrecks for money to keep alive, and she was like making fun of it.
Okay,
yeah.
So I'm going a little wild with it, and that's fine. You don't have to follow me here, but like, I can't imagine the level of like sociopathic fucking crazy shit you would have to be on to have a friend who had a dog that was fucking dying from a disease where it's shitting and pissing itself to death, and then you're just like, yeah, haha, you fucking retard, you can't afford that dog anyways, it's better to kill it. That's fucking crazy. And so in my mind, I'm kind of wondering, like, when I hear that shit, it's kind of like a tip of the iceberg thing. Is she perfect for Steven? Was she like a?
I think so. No, that's a base take. No, I think she genuinely. I think Destiny saw himself in her. He was like, "This is like a crazy motherfucker like me, but younger, and I can shape her." I genuinely believe that's what happened in his head. No evidence. No evidence. That's a complete schizo post, but that's what I think happened in his head. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, that was just a minor inference where I was like, "Holy shit, maybe they were perfect together." So. Anyways, that's what I got. You got oh, hold up. Actually, let me just hit you with this real quick. I know that you probably got to cook while the kitchen's hot. You got to make hay while the sun shines. But basically, I did, like I said, the Destiny Girl Report summary, and I'm already working on it. It's actually unrelated to it's not unrelated to this drama, but this drama isn't really affecting it too much. I have a Mr. Girl Report script. And maybe now's not the time to go over it, but I basically have a narrative, I guess, that stems from being fucked up in childhood that stems into his adult behavior. And since Mr. Girl's not willing to talk to me, I need somebody who is a Mr. Girl expert to walk me through it.
Okay.
To make sure I'm not totally off base.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, cool. You got anything else before I dip?
Nope, nothing else.
Okay, well, congratulations on all the success. Despite you being an asshole, I hope you have a beautiful night.
All right, catch you later. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, wasn't that great, guys?